Hey, what's up you guys? Joe to the 12th here. If you guys didn't know from the other video I posted about these Pokemon cards and everything, I love Pokemon. Even if I'm an adult, I don't care. I mean, I know a lot of friends that are like 27 years old and they still watch it, so don't get all weirded out. So anyway, if you guys didn't know, I grew up with the series, so I've seen pretty much most of it. So I'm a huge Pokemon fan, let's just leave it at that. My friend had the nerve to tell me to look up this video. So, as you guys know, if you guys haven't heard CreepsMcPasta, I'm pretty sure that name sounds kind of familiar. He's the guy that got robbed. And while he was at, I think, Coachella, I think. No, that was someone else, actually. Never mind. But, that's what happened. So, I waited for a while to ask him through Twitter if it's okay if I could react to this. He said it's alright as long as I credit him in the video. So, thank you, CreepsMcPasta, for, making me watch this. Gotta ruin my childhood, it's fine. His channel will be in the description below. Please go show support for him. He's been going through a rough time with his incident. So go and support him as much as you can. So, anyway. The video is Pokemon Lost Silver. I made a CreepyPasta before. It's lightweight. And it's not really that entertaining, to be honest. Anyway, without further ado, let's just do it.
You see, I'm a simple college student living alone in an apartment. I was very enthusiastic about the release of Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver here in the States. I've purposely locked myself out of all media and internet, aside for school purposes. That means no 4chan, no VBoard, no Bulbapedia, etc.
Damn.
As I was busy with the school year and being poor at the time, I wasn't able to buy Soul Silver on its launch date. After my school year ended, I ordered Soul Silver on Amazon. However, it would take a week for it to arrive. I decided that during that time, I would replay my Crystal version on my Game Boy Color.
There you go.
However, I realized that long ago, my mum threw it away because I told her the save went dead.
Man.
And I was very upset about it then.
Damn.
She also threw away my silver version. So all I have is my Game Boy Color.
That's some bullshit, man. And it's a Pokemon game? No. If that's the case, I just throw away my whole console altogether. I don't care. So, I have Pokemon Moon on my DS. I beat the game not the whole game, but I don't want to delete my save. It's perfect. Like, I could go against the Pokemon League over and over and not lose. So, I'm keeping that shit. But I mean, really? You're gonna throw away my Pokemon game? The game that I grew up with? Anyway, let's continue.
As such, I set out to GameStop and bought a used silver version, as it's the only Pokemon game left they had for Game Boy Color.
Damn.
$10, fairly cheap. I went home and started it up for a nostalgia trip.
There you go.
However, that's where things started getting bizarre. And most likely the reason...
Oh, this video is gonna be kind of like that. Okay. So, I played Pokemon Soul Silver before. It is really fun. I'm not kidding. I think I had Heart Gold, actually. My bad. They're the same thing. It's just different layout and everything. It's the same thing. The title and gameplay is different, but anyway. I love Heart Gold. I had that. I had it when it first came out, and it was so fun. I got bored of it, I think, as soon as I hit the 7th gym. I think that's when I stopped. I don't know, I can't remember. Anyway. What he's doing is adding, like, images, like, say, like, at the beginning of the Game Boy or DS version, it shows, like, 1995 to whatever. That kind of thing. It shows, like, what brand and everything. It's all that. The loading screen when you first start up.
And you're listening to this. The Game Freak logo started up as normal, but it just froze there. I thought the cart was just errored or something, so I turned it off and on, and the same thing happened. I tried pressing A and start over and over, and all of the buttons. Eventually, the logo vanished,
Thank God.
and there was a black screen for about 5 seconds. Suddenly, rather than going to the usual menu screen, I was already in the game.
Oh no. Oh my God, no. No, not this area. Oh, I remember when I played this game, I had trouble in this area. I remember this. I remember this area. This pissed me off so much. I can't remember. It was something Tower. I forgot what the name was. He'll probably say it. I don't know.
The previous saved file, which was odd, as I was expecting all of these cards to have been wiped by the poor battery. Either way, I wasn't complaining, as I would have chosen the continue option just to see what the previous guy did anyways.
I don't do that.
First off, I checked the train information.
Fuck!
His name was just... ... He didn't have much originality.
Yeah.
I checked his profile, and apparently he had 999 hours put into the game.
Well, I think you have a hacked version. If that's the case, that is... I haven't seen any kind of save. I only did this once. The guy had all 100, low 100 Pokemon and everything. Okay, I can understand that you want to continue the game just to see where he left off or what Pokemon the guy had. I can understand that. But when it says he played it for 999 minutes, no, sorry, hours and 59 minutes, that's when you know you're fucking up with the wrong game. And the money is 999,999. Okay. Alright.
With all 16 badges, 99,999.9 Poké Dollars, and all the 251 Pokemon in the Pokédex.
So he 100% the game.
Seeing as he apparently had Mew and Celebi logged also, I'm guessing he used a Game Genie, or was a really hardcore Pokemon player back then. I checked his Pokemon just to see what badass team he had.
No way. Oh, no way. Yo, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna let him explain it.
To my surprise, I saw 5 unknowns and a 6th Pokemon named Hurry. I'm thinking that this must be some cruel joke by the person who last played the game. But I decided to check the profiles of the Pokemon anyways. As expected, there were different letters of unknown, all level 5. I was a bit shaky with my unknown alphabet at the time, but I identified the word, spelled out to be leave.
Okay. Yeah, no. Leave? Okay. No, it's alright. I'll probably break the game or maybe trade it back in for a couple bucks. I don't give a shit. Want me to leave? Alright. I'm okay with that.
As for the 6th Pokemon, it turned out to be a Cyndaquil.
Okay.
Mind you, this is before there were individualized Pokemon icons. The Cyndaquil looked normal.
Okay.
But it was only level 5, with only 1 HP left, with only 2 attacks, Leer and Flash.
Shitty Pokemon. I'm sorry.
I don't know why they named him Hurry, but at the time, I just disregarded it. The most eerie thing was that despite my volume being max, none of the Pokemon had said the usual cries. Just pure silence.
And you had to take it a step further and not add any sound to the video. Okay.
Having enough of the team, I closed it. I was parked at what appears to be a room inside the Bellsprout Tower.
There you go.
However, for some reason, there were no NPCs around. Even more eerie was that the pillar in the middle didn't move at all, as if just leaning on its side. There was no music at all, and there were no exit or ladders.
Damn.
Or at least I thought there wasn't. I walked around for a few minutes, but can't seem to find a way out. This was certainly not a room I've been in the Bellsprout Tower before. I tried checking my items for an escape rope, but the bag was completely empty. There wasn't any wild Pokemon either. Finally, I managed to find a ladder, which turned out to be behind the pillar.
Fuck! Oh my god. Oh, that scared me.
Screen turned black, and the music finally started playing. I had a sudden chill, as I recognized the melody I heard to be the same theme you hear when you listen to the radio at the Alpha Ruins, where the unknowns are.
No.
I immediately realized that it wasn't a loading transition, but rather I was in a dark room and would need flash. Before I took care of that though, I immediately checked my poker gear to change the radio to something more pleasant. But it turns out there was no radio card, or even a phone, nor time cards. There was only a map card in which Gold, ... from earlier, was just walking in the midst of black. I recall that Cyndaquil has flash, so I turned off my poker gear and made Cyndaquil use flash.
There you go.
I didn't see any message saying Hurry used flash, or anything like that. The room just became lit. Just like that. And I soon regretted it. The room was a chilling blood red, with a linear grey path heading south. The ladder I used to go up and down was not there at all. I had no choice but to head south. The screen got darker every 20 steps I made. Until I finally made it to the end, which appears to be a sign. I read the sign, which said, "Turn back now." Suddenly, I was asked to answer yes or no, but there was no question asked. I chose yes, as I do not know what it was asking, and the screen went black again. making a ladder climb sound. The unknown radio music stopped, and in a few seconds was replaced with not as creepy poker flute radio music. I was in another dark room, but I held my breath and used flash again. Suddenly, it said, "Hurry has fainted," which was odd, since I recall that there was no status condition like poison on him, and I clearly wasn't in a battle. I checked my Pokemon quickly, and suddenly, he's no longer in my party. In fact, after a bit of investigating, none of my Pokemon are there, but instead replaced with level 10 unknown. I did the same thing as before, and spelled out the unknown. My then team of unknown spelled, "He died." Either way, after that creepy change, the room was lit to reveal myself in a very small room that appears to be only 4 squares big. The walls of that room were big grey bricks, as if I was inside something that was hollowed out. Outside that room appears to be a bunch of graves, similar to the one in Pokemon Red and Blue. I've walked around that small room and pressed A, but nothing happened. I've already concluded that this was clearly a hacked game, and some sadistic person sold it to GameStop. However, my curiosity kept me going. I checked the trainer profile of ... again, only to find out that the sprite of Gold was missing his arms. He also seems to appear less smug, but rather seems more sad and empty in a way that I do not know how to describe. For some reason, it also now said that he had 24 badges, which was clearly impossible. After a few minutes of aimlessly wondering, my character suddenly spun and did the escape rope spinning animation. Instead of flying up though, my character spun downwards, slowly, as if sinking. After that scream, the music stopped. After finally landing, the overworld sprite of Gold is coloured differently now. Instead of the usual red colour he dons, he appeared completely white now, including his skin. It's as if he came straight from the colourless Game Boy games, replaced into a coloured background of the Game Boy Color. I checked his profile, and
Okay.
while now is as white as his overworld sprite.
Cool. We're halfway through the video and now it just took a really dark turn. Sure, you got a hack game. Okay, you want to keep it? Okay, turn it in? Okay. Okay, fine. But for me, I wouldn't keep on going. Because now he's going to keep on going, and I see Gold, which is the main character, in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. He has no arms, no legs, completely white, and he's bleeding out the eyes. Cool. Oh my god. Now I'm not going to watch Pokemon anymore because of this shit. Cool.
He lost his legs, and what appears to be bloody tears from his eyes. It also says he has 32 badges.
Oh my god.
Which now starts to disturb me, as this change of number seems to represent something important. I also checked my Pokemon, which this time contains 5 unknowns, and a level 100 Celebi without a nickname. The unknown are this time leveled 15, and spelling out dying.
Okay.
I checked the Celebi's profile. It was a shiny Celebi,
Ooh.
except there was only half of the sprite. 1 arm, 1 leg, 1 eye, and it only had 1 attack. Perish Song.
Okay.
The area I was in itself was a sprout tower, with the immobile pillar as before. Except everything is apparently red now. I walked north for what felt like forever.
Don't put that quiet, please.
Eventually, I encountered some generic men and women NPCs.
Thank God.
They were all lined up to the side, just facing along the slantish pillar in the middle. They were also white, and nothing happened when I tried to speak to them. I kept on going north until eventually the pillar finally appears chopped off, with the transparent red in that spot. I went up to red, and without even pressing A, I was suddenly engaged in a battle. The music starts again, which sounds like the unknown radio music again, but played backwards. Gold's battle sprite matches his front one with the bloody eyes, white skin, and lack of arms. Gold's battle back sprite matches his front one with the bloody eyes, white skin, and lack of arms, while Red sprite was the same as before in Gold, Silver, and Crystal, except transparent. The text simply said, "Wants the battle," as if he has no name, and both of us only have 1 Pokemon each, which is weird, as I swore I had 6 with the unknowns. My Celebi came out, conveniently with half a sprite, for the back sprite also.
Oh.
The shiny sound and animation was different, as the sounds it made sound like multiple screech attacks used consecutively. Red sent out a seemingly normal male Pikachu,
Sad.
except he's level 255, and his sprite seems sad and has tears in his eyes. Rather than the usual fight, item, Pokemon run menu, I was only given the option to use attacks. Since Celebi only had 1, I chose it. Naturally, since Pikachu was level 255, he went first. Pikachu used Curse, lowering his speed and increasing his other stats.
Okay.
I'm not even sure if Pikachu could use Curse. Celebi used Perisong. In 3 turns, both Pokemon get KO'd. Not like I have a choice. At this point, I didn't even go back into the fight menu, as the battle just continued without me. Also note, there were no animations at all for some reason.
Oh my God.
Pikachu used Flail, which
Fuck.
didn't do much damage despite his level, and boost as his health was maxed. Celebi used Perisong. Nothing happens as it was already used. Pikachu used Frustration, which did a ton of damage, knocking Celebi to less than 10 HP. Celebi used Pain Split, which surprised me as Celebi didn't even have that attack in the first place. Now Celebi and Pikachu have about 150 HP. Pikachu used Mean Look. Not like that did anything. As expected, due to the effects of Perisong, my Celebi fainted. Except in the text it said, Celebi has died. Instead of the ordinary drop-off screen animation, the Celebi back sprite just vanished. For some reason, the Pikachu was still up, even with the Perisong, and it didn't count as my loss. Pikachu used one more different attack beyond the 5 attack limit. Pikachu used Destiny Bond. Afterwards, it said Pikachu has died, with a slow fade-out animation. Apparently I was the winner, as the transparent red sprite showed up and said, ...
No head. Cool.
At that point, I just freaked out, as the transparent red sprite was suddenly beheaded, leaving nothing but his transparent body. The battle then ended at that point and faded out along with the music. I'm back in the overworld, with another change to Gold Sprite. He is now as transparent as Red's overworld sprite. I quickly checked Gold's profile, where this time, the only thing remains of him is his head, with a transparent skin. The head was zoomed in a bit, showing black void in his eyes. It now stated that he had 40 badges, and I backed out and checked my Pokemon. They were all level 20 Shiny Unknown, which spelled out no more. I was at what I now know is next to the end. There was apparently no music playing, but for some reason, I felt like something was there that could be heard. I was back in New Barktown. Maybe finally I get to play this game properly. But who am I kidding? I knew that sadistic person must have done something. I walked around the room to interact with things, as I'm a bit afraid to go down the stairs and see what was awaiting down there.
Yeah.
Note I said walked, as while the background was moving, Gold Sprite was not moving his transparent limbs at all while doing so.
It's
Just
levitating.
floating, like those ghosts you see in Diamond and Pearl. As expected, the radio, computer, and TV didn't work, so I had no choice but to go downstairs. I ended up in the same lower level room of my house. Everything appears normal, except Mom isn't home. After failing to interact with anything in this room, I decided to go outside. To my surprise, that door leading outside at the south didn't work, and instead, I just walked straight through it to avoid. I continued moving south to see what the hell was going on. My house vanishes as I head south into the void. It was creepy as when I entered the void, the outline on Gold Sprites turned white to contrast the pitch black. Eventually, I reached the white area, and Gold Sprite turned black and transparent again, I continued south without thinking of stopping at all. After a long trek south, I finally encountered something. It was Gold's regular sprite. I tried to talk to it. He said, "Goodbye forever," and vanished.
Okay.
As that happened, it said, question mark, question mark, question mark, use nightmare, which at that point, I would not deny that being possible. Gold did another escape rope animation, spinning slowly downwards like before. I'm now back into that small, hollowed out room surrounded by graves earlier. Or at least I say I was back there, as there was no sprite anymore. I tried to walk around, but nothing moved. Not even wall bumping noise. I checked my trainer's profile, with absolutely no Gold sprite left. It said, I have 0 badges, and all the pictures of the Johto gym leaders at the bottom were replaced with skulls. I checked my Pokemon, which were all level 25 unknown. As expected, it spelled out a phrase that I dared to read. I'm dead. As soon as I went back to the overworld, the room I was in was then covered with the same blocks as the walls. I then figured out what exactly that room was when the final text said, R.I.P. ... That room was a big grave, surrounded by other graves. Gold has already been dead. He died, presumably, a few years after he defeated Red. He was a young trainer who, despite his efforts in collecting so many badges and attempts at becoming a Pokemon master, was still unable to avoid the inevitability fate of death. And his efforts were eventually forgotten by the next generation. I was unable to escape from that text, no matter what I pressed. I tried resetting the game, and the same thing happened, at which I finally decided to give up on that horrible